Alright folks, this is Acid Root, so welcome to part 9 of Let's Play Crash Team Racing, where we tackle the next course. Now the thing about Citadel City is just the fact that a lot of these are just going to be basically one race per episode. I think I said that last time, but just due to the difficulty and the fact that these are of course the toughest stages in the game, basically means that, you know, I suspect I'm not going to be able to finish these races first time I race them. So obviously there's going to be some trial and error, which results in the fact that it's going to be longer. I mean, I would say, honestly, this episode would have been longer if it would have taken me longer to finish this stage, but just the fact of it is I don't know. I don't know if it's going to wind up later on getting to like 2 episodes per race course or something like that, but we'll see. Hopefully not, just because, you know, these games do... For some reason, this game just started getting on my nerves a lot more than the past 3 or 4 courses, but I know it's all in good fun, but I don't know. Another thing. But, I mean, yeah, this game is probably still one of the best games for the PS1, as long as you can deal with the learning curve, which is kind of the thing. I mean, Mario Kart, I hate to say it, but I would have to somehow still say that Mario Kart 64 is better, just because the learning curve in that game was just good. I mean, it didn't, I mean, really, the Star Cup, which is the 3rd cup of races, didn't belt out the difficulty like horribly like this game did. I mean, really, the ice stages were just bad, and then like the 2 stages I've done in the 4th cup, Citadel City, are not too terrific either. I mean, we'll see how the other 2 courses turn out, but that's kind of the thing there. So yeah, I mean, I'd have to say because of that, probably also because of like the battle mode stages, I'd say that Mario Kart 64 probably is the better game, but this is more endearing just because it has an adventure mode. So for one person, this is probably the better game, but for like you and a few friends, Mario Kart 64 is better, just because, you know, Mario Kart's never been known to have a story mode. That was brilliant that this game did that. And even had boss characters, and I mean, it didn't have any cutscenes. I wish that there would have been something that could have happened, like, you know, blah blah blah, like nitrous oxide. They could have shown him like you know, testing his racing skills, because he's just at the end of the game. They don't show him training or any other person trying to challenge him. The only person he feels willing to race is just the winner of everything. And they should have had, like, you know, like they do in Rocky, where like you know, I don't remember, like Apollo Creed winds up fighting one time rather than just Rocky, who fights the whole time. So they should have had just stuff like that. I mean, you think about it, having kind of like a spare person race nitrous oxide to prove how tough he is. Because really, I mean, the guy doesn't make much appearances beyond just the intro at the very beginning of the game, and then like the final race at the end. So it's a little bit scant, but I don't know. I mean, this Crash Bandicoot game had its appeal to it, but at the same time, it felt very, you know, when I reflect on how far I've played in this game, it just felt very straightforward. I mean, most PS1 games had more detail than that, but it really was just the 16 racetracks and the boss characters, who really didn't have that much to say either, and that was virtually it. I mean, Crash Warped had more script in it. I would have liked to have seen some more of that. I mean, I would still give this game, if I had to score it, probably like a 9 or even a 10 out of 10 in some cases, but it just pisses me off, and it's pretty straightforward. So it's brief, which seems unrealistic compared to how it was back in 2000 when I was playing this game in 2001. So, but, you know, of course, you know, I'm in my early 30s now, so that's kind of the thing. But yeah, so I don't like those spiders that keep dropping down. They're a bastard. I feel like if you get hit by those, it can basically damn near botch the whole race, especially if it happens on like lap 3. So I would just have to, I mean, unless you're really good at this game, I would have to say you don't want to, if you get hit by those, you might want to restart the race. I mean, I know it's kind of a pain in the ass, but yeah. I'm surprised that there weren't more enemies from like Crash Bandicoot games. I mean, the Mario Kart series was really good about putting those types of enemies in there from the actual games, but this just has the spiders, and that's really about it. It's mostly just a racetrack that this is nefarious more so than anything else. But I'm surprised that Cortex didn't have a bigger role either. I mean, you would think just the fact that he was like this evil scientist that he's this nefarious scientist that wants to rule the world, but he has to team up with Crash. You'd think that he would have been a little bit more of a bastard, like he could have had like some tricks or something. It would have been cool to race against him. You know, I mean, there's just so how many opportunities I look at, like just the fact that Cortex was just a good guy the whole way through. I mean, most of the time when a villain, you know, teams up with the hero, they are not trustworthy and they do something sneaky somewhere along the way. But there wasn't any of that in this. I mean, Cortex and Jin, some of them that were just bastards just the game before, and Crash Warped are completely on your side. It's like, what the hell? I mean, and on top of that, it really doesn't matter whether or not you choose the hero characters or the villain characters. It doesn't alter anything. So, but I mean, for what it is, I don't know if that's just taken back to the fact that this was released in 1999. But I just look at so many things that, you know, I could see could have been added as like an adhesive to this game. But I keep messing up that jump. I don't know if you've already seen that part, but that's kind of something that botched some stuff just because I keep thinking that the jump is later, but I just didn't have this course memorized, which it is very much like the King Koopa castle from the Mario State games, but I actually like the stage a little bit better. It's pretty good. Yeah, see, I'm like, nah, I'm not having it. So, I am taking it easy, trying to figure out what else has been going on. Did a couple videos, but this has been real low-key lately. It just has not been an overabundance. Like, I've been watching the news, and, you know, they've been talking about the Omicron variant scouring things, and it's more, and they say it's not as bad as the Delta variant, but it's more transmissible than, like, the Delta variant, so it's kind of, I don't know. I mean, I think it is starting to become, like, there's a word besides a pandemic, but I don't know, it's just kind of, I'm running out of things to really say about, like, COVID-19. It's not like I'm running out of it, but kind of the concept of it being, like, novel. Like, I've heard on the news them say the novel coronavirus, but novel means that it's a novel idea. Like, you're fond of it, but it's not long-term. And it's like, well, it is long-term because this is becoming an age. This is like the Dark Ages or something, or the bubonic plague ages. That didn't just last for like 1 year. It's now multiple. It's plural now. That's kind of the thing. It's like the COVID years, which is basically the whole 2020s decade, because it's going to probably be here in 2023. I mean, every single person, you know, I would have to say there would have to be like some sort of way of like sealing. You know, if you don't believe in the vaccine, that's one thing, but to say it would have to mean every single person would have to be immune to the virus for it to go away. So there's always going to be someone that's going to infect. But it's one way or the other. You just have to look at it. I just feel like, you know, all these uncivilized towns are the ones that are getting COVID the worst because they don't have the doctors to be able to fix these situations. That's kind of the thing. That's the reason why COVID's still going. I mean, not to be rude. I mean, it's not just like the unpopulated, but, you know, there's places in like Australia and South America and places like that that have this not good doctors. I mean, Brazil is not exactly New York City, so. But the only reason I would want to live in Brazil, no offense to South American viewers that are watching me, is just for the women. I mean, that's probably the most attractive. Like, I've seen some attractive women on Instagram from Brazil, and it's kind of, that's the only reason. I mean, the tropical drinks, the dancing, the music, if you like that sort of music, and the women. That's really about the only real reason to go to Brazil, and maybe the water, the vacation type stuff. But other than that, it's just like, you know, I mean, you can't really, I don't know if they have Xboxes out there and PlayStations and, you know, game shops and stuff like that, Red Bull and Mountain Dew and some of that shit. I mean, I don't suppose they're in the sticks, but you just don't hear about, I don't see too many YouTubers from South America that often. So, like, I bet you it'd be pretty difficult to acquire this game at this stage from, that's what I'm assuming, but yeah, so this video is already almost over, and you know, stay tuned for part 10 where we'll tackle the third stage of Citadel City. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in these. I learned the other one, though. It's Oxide Station, which is probably where we have to race Nitrous Oxide, and then the other stage will be where we race Pinstripe or something like that. So we got, you know, 2 more races, 2 boss fights, and then the crystal stages, and that should take care of it. So I'd say we're probably about 65-70% done with this game, give or take. Maybe 75% done, I don't really know. I know that we're more than halfway done, I can safely say, maybe 3-4, something like that, I don't know. But, so we're going to go save, and then that'll conclude this, and, you know, just stay tuned. This is kind of a shorter episode, but I didn't feel like doing the third stage. I did the first 2 stages the other day when I recorded this, so. But, alright, so subscribe for more fun. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful night. I'll see you in part 10.